process within a person or animal that causes movement either toward a goal or away from an unpleasant situation. So listen, let's summarize it. Don't memorize the language. Get the concept. Motivation is anything that motivates you or moves you towards something or away from something. You all are smart. Don't worry about all that language. What is motivation? If you see the definition, would you be able to get it?
Yeah.
We have biological drives and we have social drives. Listen, I came into this world with DNA and chromosomes, right?
Yeah.
They're biological drives that force me to either want something or to move towards something. All right? They're biological drives such as the need to acquire food and water. The need to have sex. We do have that need. The need to seek novelty, information, and to avoid cold and pain. We don't like cold and we don't like pain.
What's novelty?
Information. Novel. No, I wouldn't say animalistic. I would say that we are akin to animals. That humans and animals have a lot of similarities, but I wouldn't call it animalistic.
I mean, not animalistic, but they refer to us at one point in the book as human animals, right?
Yes, they do. And I need you to think critically. Do you see yourself as being an animal?
No, I don't see myself as being an animal.
I know the book does. I'm with you, Tariq. I hear you. I wouldn't call it animalistic.
No, animalistic is another.
Yeah, so
Drives are more like
here you go. Motives. Drives. You have biological and social. We'll get there. You have intrinsic and extrinsic. Remember that?
Yeah.
Intrinsic drive is you just have where are my parents at? Where are my parents at? You probably have children, some are more driven and have more drive and determination. And then you have another child that's mellow and laid back and not as determined. Right? That can be intrinsic, it can be internal, and it can also be external. A coach can motivate that. But then you have some players that don't need their coach to motivate them. Kobe Bryant does not need to be motivated by a coach. Michael Jordan does not need to be motivated by a coach. Mia Hamm does not need to be motivated by a coach. Serena and Venus do not need to be motivated by a coach. There's something on the inside. Tiger Woods does not need to be motivated by anybody. It's intrinsic. Then there are other people who are excellent. It's not either or. It's however you are driven. Then you have other people that need to be cussed out. I'm not saying that that cussing out or being cussed out. I'm just saying there's some people need to be leaned into. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
4 central areas of human motivation. The central areas of human motivation. We're motivated to achieve. We're motivated to love. We're motivated to be intimate. And we're motivated to eat. Got it?
No, wait.
4 human motives. Achievement, love, sex, and food. Are we good?
Yeah.
Intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic is internal. Extrinsic is external. Per my comments just a minute ago. The pursuit of an activity for its own sake. You like it because you like it. You're not being influenced by the outside. She's enjoying it because she finds it to be fun. Extrinsic, you're given something to go to the doctor. She wants to go to the doctor because she gets a lollipop. You all see how she's externally influenced?
Yes.
Oh. The hungry animal, motives to eat. This is what Sharif was saying. In this book, because it's scientific, it's coming from a science perspective. They look at evolution and they look at us as animalia. They look at us under the kingdom of animalia. The biology of weight. Obesity and overeating are not simply a result of failed willpower, emotional disturbance, overeating. Yep. A biological mechanism keeps your body at a genetically influenced set point. We all have a set point that at tip-top condition is our normal set point. That's our natural set point for weight when we're in tip-top condition. So listen, let me be real clear because y'all can be funny. For the person that's 500 pounds overweight, they don't have any business saying this is just my set point. No, that's not what. The set point is saying when you are optimally healthy, you have a set point. You have a healthy, normal weight that's functional and productive. Sometimes we can get a little crazy. I'm just big boned. No, you got a big appetite. You're not big bones, you got a big appetite. Why y'all laughing? So when I roll in the skeleton, are we going to roll in the skeleton with a neck that's big? Okay, and then we say, okay, that's a Puerto Rican neck, or that's a Dominican neck, or that's an African American neck. No, all skeletons look the same. Gotcha. All skeletons look the same. It's what you put on the skeleton based on your appetite. Can I keep it moving? Genetic influences on body and on weight and body shape. Hunger, weight, and eating are regulated by a set of bodily mechanisms. Chapter 12. We have the basal metabolic rate. That's just your metabolism. Then you have your number of fat cells. Parents and parents-to-be, the more sugar you feed your children, the more they produce fat cells.
That's right.
And it's harder to lose the baby fat if you have a body full of fat cells. Which is why there are a lot of parents that do not give their children sugar. Because the more sugar you eat, the more fat cells you produce, and the more fat cells you produce, the more fat the fat wants. Alright?
Yes.
The role of leptin. Just write down leptin. The hypothalamus is the part of the brain that regulates and manipulates metabolism and appetite and urges for hunger. Hypothalamus. Alright? Protein leptin regulates body weight by strengthening neural circuits in the hypothalamus. I'll hang on here. I won't speed up here. That reduce appetite and weakening circuits that stimulate it. So leptin is a molecule or a substance in protein that helps regulate body weight. Okay? I'm sorry. She said your head is. I'll sit down. All right. So all you need to know is leptin is in protein and it helps to regulate body weight. That's why protein is better than carbs. Carbs turn to sugar in the body. Did you guys get that? I know this isn't a health class and a nutrition class, but protein's better than carbs. Carbohydrates turn to sugar. All my athletes and weightlifters in here, they don't do a lot of carbs. They do protein, liquids, and fruits and veggies. Leptin levels, normal. People eat just enough, low. The hypothalamus thinks the body lacks fat reserves and signals the person to overeat. So the leptin level regulates our desire to either eat or not eat based on how the body is perceiving our consumption of fat.
Wasn't that, they was using that to help people lose weight, but they found that if they put it in older people that everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, mice is good.
The complexity of weight. Many factors involved in weight. Here's the main point of this slide. There are many factors that impact weight. Okay? That's the main point of the slide. The dozens of genes and chemicals in the body, including leptin. All right? There are many factors that influence weight. So if you see a quiz on the midterm that says, There's only one factor that impacts weight, and it's called the Cheesecake Factory and how often you go there. Is that true or false? There we go. Brilliant. The receptors in the nose and mouth urging you to eat, and in your gut telling you to quit. Your gut tells you to quit when it's full. Watch this. And your receptors in your nose and in your mouth says, man, I'm hungry. And you weren't even thinking about food till you smelled the barbecue. Sweets. The sugar. Sugar is just as addictive as crack. Some people say it's more.
That's why people, when they don't get high, they do a lot of sugar.
That's right.
Sugar in their
That's a good point, Sharif. As a clinician who's worked in substance abuse clinics, one of the first transitions that substance abuse addicts transition to, they can't do crack, they can't do heroin, they can't do cocaine, they can't do, they eat 6 Snickers a day. Reese's, now or later, they overdose on the sugar because the sugar does something to the brain. I'm telling you all, we need to come away from the sugar and the soda especially. Somebody just said, no, Professor, not my soda. The overweight debate. Is it weight or fitness? Some individual researchers believe that those who are overweight and physically fit are actually healthier than individuals who are sedentary and thin. You guys get that?
Yeah.
If you're overweight, let's say you're 5'8", and the Department of Health and Human Services and the National Administration on Nutrition and Fitness says at 5'8", if you're a woman, you should be around 135 pounds. Let's say you're 200 pounds, but you run every single day, and you work out every single day. You're just a big girl. Okay, that's how you define it. I'm just a big girl. But you work out, right? You work out. There are researchers and scientists say that the big young lady that is physically active is more physically fit holistically than thin girl who hasn't seen sweat in a decade. You all get that? That's an argument. Don't ask me what I think. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. It does make sense that the more active you are and the burning of calories and the getting the that makes sense to me, but I'm not a scientist and I'm not a nutritionist. But this does make sense to me. If you're burning calories and if you're, sweating and detoxing and getting exercise, and that makes sense. You just have some people that, Environmental influences on weight. Let's just say there are environmental influences on weight. Social, cultural, family, okay? That's just common sense. There are social influences on weight, okay? Social influences on weight means that we're busy, we have jobs, we have a lot to do. Single mother with 3 children has 2 jobs. She can't be over the stove 4 hours a day. So one of the effects of broken homes and father not being there and so on and so forth is mom says, here's a microwave and here's $5. Run down the street and get yourself a burger from Quick Check. Okay, that's not good, but it is an environmental influence on weight. You guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we get it. Environmental influences on weight. Television, flat screens, games. I don't know about you all, but once upon a time, boys, let me speak from my culture, boys spent more time outside the house on dirt bikes, playing kickball, stickball, football in the street, dirt bike. Out now, everyone's become so sterile. There are actually 12 and 13-year-old boys that have no scars from falling off the skateboard. You all should have saw me at 11 and 12. I had scars all over myself.
Yeah, girls too.
Increased portion sizes. Only in America. Bigger is better. Big goal, super mega big goal. Not anymore in New York City. Listen, when I was working full time at my church a couple of years ago, there was a pastor from an international ministry in Johannesburg, South Africa. He came over to New Jersey, and we were hosting him for a week. He was the guest speaker and leader at my church and at this outreach organization. And we took him to the Cheesecake Factory class, and he could not believe the portions. I'm serious. And you all, South Africa is not Rwanda. South Africa is gorgeous. Johannesburg looks like Chicago. Johannesburg looks like New York City. If we just had whoop and dropped us in Johannesburg, you wouldn't know whether or not you were in Chicago, New York City, or Johannesburg. Cape Town, which is at the bottom, looks like San Diego and Miami. If we just had whoop and dropped us in Cape Town, South Africa, you would not know whether or not you were in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or Cape Town. It's gorgeous. We're not talking about Rwanda. Okay, we're not talking about the bush. Okay? We're not talking about Malawi. He could not believe, class, he could not believe the portion sizes and all you can drink, 3 refills. He could not believe the size. And then as we were coming out of the Cheesecake Factory, he did just like this. He said, I get it. Big drink, big meal, big people, big cars. Look at all the SUVs. We have more SUVs in this country. Oversized SUVs.